All right, we do want to get you back to that breaking news. There is an active shooter situation in Boulder, Colorado, happening at the King Soopers grocery store. What's been described by witnesses, again, as an active shooter situation. We know there's a heavy police presence there. We saw a SWAT team. We saw multiple law enforcement officials. Right now, we are joined by Phil Andrew, former FBI agent. Phil, what was your initial reaction when you saw this?
Well, it's always tragic. This is now the 101st potentially mass shooting this year. And last year we already saw a record. And we're on pace to match that. So every time we see this, it gives us concern, and we worry about the extent of the injuries, the potential fatalities, and certainly the law enforcement that are responding to it.
Well, absolutely, Phil. And as you said, the 101st shooting situation here in America. And again, we hate that we're even talking to you about this. But how do officers approach a situation like this? Because obviously there are so many moving parts. Even when you train for something like this, you can never get the exact situation.
Well, each one of these situations is very dynamic. Not one is like the other. But interestingly, we're seeing this again in Colorado, where we saw Columbine and the movie theater shooting in Aurora, that actually set new standards for how we respond to this. So police move to the sound of fire and create small teams and then move in very quickly, trying to move even past injured people to try to secure the situation. It looks like we've got a very significant law enforcement response there. I think they've probably got this scene under control in terms of a perimeter. They're probably now moving to treat any kind of injured, dealing with witnesses. But there are some very early reports indicating that they may have actually apprehended the perpetrator, that somebody came out that was in handcuffs, but on a stretcher. It's unclear whether that was a perpetrator. It's unusual that they would come out in handcuffs, if that report is correct. But we do see a large amount of activity there.
Well, and Phil, I actually wanted to touch on that because we did see a man walked out, escorted out by law enforcement. He was in handcuffs. He appeared to be only in underwear, so we're not exactly sure what happened, but you could see his right leg bleeding profusely. And we were told he was later transported. But honestly, here in the newsroom, we weren't really sure if he was a victim, if he were a suspect. Here, we're taking a look at that video right now because he just seems to be calmly walked out. And we know that there are some situations, where we'll see suspects and this isn't how they are apprehended. Can you talk about that at all?
It's just too difficult to say. Obviously, if this was a custodial situation, we'd see some more law enforcement around there. But this may be somebody that they had to put in a custodial situation because they didn't know what was happening. Maybe a weapon was involved, and they're just transporting him. But this could also be somebody that they've identified as a perpetrator, and that's why they're in handcuffs.
And obviously, I know, Phil, that, you can only speculate on this. So, we are kind of putting you on the spot there. But we do know that law enforcement requested people not reveal any tactical information on social media. As a former FBI agent, can you just talk about, social media at this point can really help, but it can also hinder officers in this type of situation?
Well, as you know, it moves almost faster than we can or with a phone call. And because if they haven't secured the building internally, their movements externally, those being broadcasted, shared, could give up the element of surprise that many of these tactics rely on. So that is an important request, and but difficult to enforce. Because people sharing things, not even knowing that they've been asked not to.
And Phil, kind of talk about, just take us from the beginning here. When officers, first get those calls, they first arrive on the scene, kind of what do they do? How are they approaching this type of situation?
It's very dynamic because they have very limited information and they may just have the site. What they need to do is get to the site and actually use all of their senses. They need to listen. They need to be looking. They need to be using their experience to move quickly to where they think the crisis site is, and reading body language of people that might be fleeing and determining where they need to actually go, well, communicating this to other officers. The first officers on the scene may just be there to lead other officers and give some additional information on what equipment might be required, what other emergency services. But we see here is a lot of equipment still being moved around. There may be still areas within the building that need to be cleared, and they're going to be taking every precaution as they do that. But again, trying to do this quickly if this is an active situation.
And Phil, you know, I was on the scene of, unfortunately, an active shooter situation in Omaha, Nebraska, more than 10 years ago. And I just know that this is not going to be wrapped up anytime soon. I mean, once the scene is deemed safe, just talk about, you know, what's to come in the days and weeks and months after this.
Well, we're going to see this scene be cordoned off. Their interviews are going to be conducted. Evidence will be collected. A lot of that will be electronic from people on the scene, from additional videos or phones that may have been in the crisis site itself, fixed surveillance, you know, from the stores, from surrounding areas. All that's going to be collected, and an important chain of custody will need to be able to establish in case it ends up being evidentiary. In terms of the people, both for the first responders, the potential victims here, and even the perpetrator, mental health, trauma-informed care, all of that really needs to surge within hours, days, and weeks, depending on the impact that this situation has caused.
And Phil, I really only have about 20 seconds left, but I have to say, and I'm sorry to make you speculate, we look at this video, we do not see a lot of ambulances leaving. Should we be concerned?
Yeah, it's just too difficult to say. They could be on standby. They may not have reached the areas that they need to.
Okay,
where there are.
Phil, Andrew, thank you so much. I hate to cut you off. The Donlin Report starts right now.